So we'll go on with our live entertainment. Without further ado, here they are.
It's Cliffhangers.
Love it. I just love it.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cliffhangers. I know this looks a little bit weird from my regular setup. Your boy is on the move. Okay. Got a lot of stuff to get done. Got a lot of stuff to do. Hope you guys are enjoying your day out there. We got a pretty good topic today. I shouldn't take too long because I'm pretty sure everybody's been seeing this and it's been trending everywhere. Now, if you watched our show, check out the LIM. You already know what to do on that when it comes to housekeeping. Make sure you do like, share, subscribe, you follow, do all of that to make sure your house stay clean. All right. Now, I'm right now in the dungeon. So I gotta make this quick. Your boy got a lot of stuff to do. I ain't even well kept today. But gotta get into this topic. We brushed over it during the week. We had a whole bunch of stuff that was going on during the week. Make sure you do follow the JLS, the LIM, anywhere that you see LIM. Make sure you do follow us there. But on the JLS this week, on Women's Wednesday, and also on Thursday Mix, we talked about the Stephen A and LeBron situation. Okay, it's been bubbling up super duper big. It hit its boiling point. Now I do encourage you guys to go and get the update with that show on how it was going there. You'll get my initial thoughts and opinions on that. But after having a few hours and a few days, at least 42, to settle in and give actual perspective to where these things are coming from, I can at least hit you guys with the cliffhangers. Okay. Now, as far as what's going on with them, if you are unfamiliar who Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James is, allow me to help educate you. Okay. LeBron James, arguably the greatest basketball player to ever put on a jersey. I mean, what else you got to say? Okay, I know there's some folks out there that's gonna be real mad. They're gonna be looking like, no, it's Jordan and it's Kareem. Y'all young bucks be forgetting about Dr. J and man. And shut up. No. He has the case to literally be the best basketball player to ever live. Not just along with best basketball player to ever live. He might really have the case to be the best athlete to ever exist. He has that case. That's just how big this dude is. And for athletes everywhere, he is the example that you go to when you say, hey, when I make it big. He checks off every box for the perfect athlete, supposedly. Now, past as being an athlete and in Stephen A's terms, a philanthropist, great dad. No. Look, outside of doing all of that, he's found himself in ample many beefs. If you can go back to LeBron and Skip Bayless, Skip Bayless made half of his career off of critiquing the perfect athlete. Then you have other folks like a Shannon Sharp, maybe Brian, a Brian Windhorst, who's been covering him since he came in. Then you got other sports analysts, some that played the game. You got Chuck and Charles Barkley on TN. Well, they're not gonna be on that anymore, is it? God, but you got the NBA Just Today crew. Like, everybody's been speaking about this man, and he's helped, if not made, the NBA even bigger than what it is today. Why do I put all of that in the same for why am I wasting my time even going through all of that? Because he's in a back and forth media battle, is what I want to call it. He's in a back and forth media battle with Mr. Stephen A. Smith. Arguably, I think it's without question right now, he's the biggest thing in sports media, period. Biggest person in sports media, period. I don't care what network you want to get him on. whether that's individual and independent networks like your podcast and stuff out there talking about sports, he's the biggest one. If you're talking about regular media on ESPN, he's the biggest one. If he went to Fox, he would be the biggest one. He's the biggest name that you would go to in sports media side. And they've been very vocal with each other throughout this week, definitely throughout the month. And maybe if you go back to their track record throughout the years. Okay. Now, Stephen A is he has a track record for saying that Mr. Michael Jordan, Jeffrey Jordan, he has a track record of saying he's the greatest player to ever live. And LeBron James is number 2. In doing this, they have had a back and forth sparring stemming from that, what seeming like. Now he's been very he's been showing a lot of criticism, I guess. And to Stephen A's point, he's not the only one that's been showing criticism to this point, but he's been showing a lot of criticism for what has happened over the last few months with LeBron James and his son, LeBron James Jr., aka Bronny James. He's shown a lot of critique for that. Now that's the age-old nepotism argument. You're not going to get anything like that from me. Yeah. I have argued up and down with a whole bunch of old heads or folks that just love LeBron with, oh my gosh, y'all so mad because he brought his son in, nepotism, blah, blah, blah. Yo, I get it. This ain't even going to be that conversation. It's not going to be that conversation. It's going to be rooted in it, but it's not that conversation. Only because I can't avoid the conversation. So I'll be bringing up older points. Again, check out our old stuff. We already discussed this. But to give you an idea of where that's from, or abbreviated for layman's terms, Stephen A. Smith has critiqued LeBron not as a player, but is questioning him as a father for putting his son in the position to be highly critiqued like he is for the position that he's came in with. Now, a lot of folks are on LeBron's side. Oh no, LeBron did so much for the league. LeBron did this, LeBron did that. You see white people bring their kids in and they're able to yada, yada, yada. Why can't LeBron do it? Well, he was like, why put your son in these predicaments to where he has to be a subject of, oh man, this buddy trash. He don't really get the time to get his dudes in. He's a rookie, 55th pick. So he's a second round draft pick in the middle of that round. He should not have this much eyes on him. You put your son there. Now, if you go back to LeBron, my son always wanted to be an NBA player. I always wanted to play with my son had I been healthy enough to do it. Now, LeBron James is Iron Man. The buddy don't get hurt. So for him to stay healthy for at least 20 years to play with his son, I get the discourse. Everybody they're so happy. Oh my God. When he played that first game with his son, you saw tears on the sidelines from LeBron fans. You saw the cheeses from the James family. Everybody in sports said how beautiful it was. Even Stephen A. Smith. But once the rose-colored eyeglasses is gone, once the flowers just stop being spread, and we actually get in the nooks and the cranny of an NBA season, Stephen A. Smith is like, yo, we know why your son here. It's because of you. It's not because of him. And it's clear, buddy ain't ready. He ain't built like this for real. He just for real got a daddy that got built from it. He ain't ready. And that's your fault for putting him in this position. That's basically what Stephen A. Smith was saying to him. Now, I'm gonna replay a few of the stuff that LeBron James has since said because he's been on a media tirade. Buddy has been going back and forth with Stephen A. Whether you go from Stephen A's comments on Twitter or X now, whether you see folks critiquing it there, like let's have the journey for real, for real. Like let's have the journey for real, for real. Buddy has been getting killed online, killed or unalived. Excuse me, unalived online. Okay, like everybody has been having something to say about this. Now before I get into this, because he is the product of being memes right now, I need to go into his initial statements. Where is his initial statements at? But they getting on how he dressed. They getting on everything, bro. They're saying he crashing out on live TV. It is getting on, buddy. Now, I will say, if you ever wanted to know how to spin something, like legit make money off of whatever you going through, this is a great example because Buddy been getting bank off of this. Anytime he say LeBron name, he's getting over 1,000 some views in the first 10 minutes. Maybe in the hundreds of thousands. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? I want to get the initial one, but it's probably not there. Let me just go back to the Pat McAfee thing because that's literally what everybody's reacting to. They're reacting to the Pat McAfee instance where he was on the Pat McAfee show. So let me pull that up then. Righty. All right, let me pull him up. But this is LeBron James on the Pat McAfee show. Now, I do see Pat McAfee trying to clear this up. I hope at some point one of you two stop it. Buddy just said he wore tidy whities on live TV. Stop it. This ain't no this ain't reconcilable. Okay, I don't even know if I said that right. Reconcilable. This ain't that. Okay, this is not that. Buddy said I wear tidy whities. First off, that's like the very PG way to say you meat small. I'm not gonna lie. He said, "Love meat, nigga. Go sit down, eat some ice cream because you lonely. Okay, chill out. I'm cool with you mentioning my name in your mouth, but don't get too big for your britches, big dog. I'm Big Bron, boy, Big Bron. I want to bring up the initial interaction because he was talking about the instance where him and LeBron met up courtside, third period. Well, third on quarter, and LeBron came and he checked him. Checking. Literally. Alrighty. Hold on, you guys. Just going to pick this up right there. This is the initial. Oh, y'all ain't gonna get me. Y'all ain't gonna get me, bit dog. Mm, they trying to play with me. Hold on now. I just clicked the video. Y'all ain't finna do that. Not to me. Not to me, big dog. Shout out to House of Highlights for having me, bro. As you can see, he went over. I think they was playing the Mavericks this game. I think they was playing the Mavericks this game. It's either Maverick or Toronto. But he went over there, went straight, made a beeline over there to Stephen A. And he checked him. He just be like, man, what's up? What's good? So after that, and after what he said on the Pat McAfee show, now we have Stephen A. Smith's response. Okay. Let me go to not in no specific order. Ooh, no, no. Hold on, you guys. Mm. With the Knicks. Oh, I thought it was somebody else. Now, you guys can go back over. Like I said, I am skipping a few parts. Because I do know he went to X to speak on other stuff pertaining to them two. Do not want to look at the hairline. Sure, gonna be bent. But I do know they went to that it was not the only thing they was talking about here. All right, now I got it fixed up. Anyway, so if you guys want to get the chronological order, I'm sorry, this ain't that vid. Make sure that you do go back over our older stuff. Maybe you can find it there. I do have to go ahead and put that in like a compilation or something if I get time. Anyway, this is what I'll call out. This is my perspective. Okay, this is my perspective on this. Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. I'm right. I'm right with both of them. You feel me? I do believe both of their perspectives, but I also don't. Yeah, I'm playing the fence. F you. But this is why I'm playing the fence. I get both sides. If you're going towards LeBron James and you're removing LeBron James, the athlete, and look at LeBron James, the father, then as any father would, you will put the best predicament for your son as possible. So he doesn't have to go over the same hurdles you do. You would also make sure that his life would be easier than yours. That is what most parents would want. Also, you would want for any equity that you make, if it can be passed down to your kids, you would want them to share in the same benefits. This is where I understand if you want to imagine a world where I would ever be a father, if you want to imagine a world where you are not a father, but you should be or whatever, you can get a parent's point of view if you just took your own life in account. I also get Stephen A. Smith is saying, dog, I get you a dad, but you also LeBron James. That doesn't change. You're also LeBron James that went down in history for an, if not the greatest, one of. We can't ignore that you're that. Buddy is LeBron James Jr. But in order to semi get out of your shadow, because I think that's BS too, but hey, in order to semi get out of your shadow, I gotta go by my nickname now. I gotta go by Bronny James. Bro. And I get it. If you want to play the sympathy card as a if you want to play the sympathy card and imagine yourself as a father that almost lost your son the year before he got drafted, and you didn't even know if he could really get into the league, and not to say that you don't know, like he probably didn't have the talent, just because we almost lost him. You got the opportunity to put him in the league. You're taking it. Period. You're taking the opportunity, especially if you can do it yourself. He literally did it himself. We all know why Bronny James got into the league. He got into the league because of LeBron James. I know a lot of LeBron James fans don't want to hear that, but as much as you guys want to bring up stats in his case for why he's the greatest of all time, use the stats that he also applies to you in other cases. Bronny James, if barely don't at all have any type of college resume. And he technically played for USC. Really put that in perspective. I went to college and I have nothing to really show for it. Resume wise. No stats for real. No best. I didn't start. You know what I mean? I didn't beat out my competition on my team. And I wasn't even recognized as a number one talent in the nation, let alone my league. I didn't do any of those things. Like half of the folks who were drafted in the round before me, and maybe even in the same round I'm in, I did none of that. Now, high school, I was doing it. If you're taking Bronny's point of view, high school, I got some stats in high school, not enough to make sense of being drafted though. Now, the discourse gonna be back. Well, golly, he had health conditions and la 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 la. While as unfortunate it is and unfair it is, it don't take away from the truth. Shoot, if we can be frank, I don't think he was looked as the best player on his high school team. Even when he was putting up stats, I don't even think he was the best on his high school team. Buddy, as messed up as this is going to sound, and I get it. Maybe this is going too far. I don't even think Buddy was the best in his house. Really keep that in perspective. And take the emotion out of it. Take all of the emotion out of it. And you really looking at the situation Bronny James is unfairly in. Because it's just already, it's unfair. We have to critique him like this for a 55th round draft pick. We don't even take the time to know that it's a 55th round, let alone knowing a 55th round draft pick. Bro, we can't go to any instance where it's critiqued this heavy and it makes sense. That's why the nepotism argument for a lot of folks don't make sense. Yes, this is a great story. Yes, it looks amazing. You got father and son on the Lakers. Yay. Now, I hate their guts. You feel me? They discuss me, bump the Lakers. I don't want y'all to win, but y'all look too freaking good. Even with his son on the team. Imagine that. Even with this dude's son on the team, they still look like they might win a chip. And imagine the story it is. Before you retire, you win just one more championship with your son. Boy, the storyline for that would be crazy. The storyline for that would be crazy. But everybody know your son ain't really contributing. Again, let me go back through the records. I don't think he was the best on his high school team. He didn't really put up no stats, health conditions wise, on the college team. And then maybe it can be an argument that you wasn't even the best in the household that you lived in. Because from what they saying with the younger brother, Buddy's finna be him. Then your daddy, he already him. You are in an unfair position. But is this something that you wanted to be in, or is this something that your daddy put you in? Which is what we kept going back to with Stephen A. Smith. Okay. That's Stephen A. Smith real argument here that I think got missed because now it's easy to target the media because Stephen A. Smith is the media. LeBron James is the perfect athlete. But I think that's what was getting missed here because it's still part of that nepotism argument. It's still part of the nepotism argument. Do you want to make the league or do you want a pity opportunity? I think any competitor would say, bump the pity, say I earned it. If you really keeping up with me, you see where I'm going with this. Bump the pity, say I earned it. That's why the nepotism argument don't work here. Yeah, white people have made or big fascist companies have sent over their company to whoever it is in their family, usually the son, and now he's inheriting it. Now he runs the company, yada yada yada. He get to do it and I don't. Reason why I don't work here is because at every turn you can tell Buddy didn't earn it. He was giving it out of sympathy. So now when he's trying to pay his dues, which he should, since now he's trying to pay his dues in an already privileged position, you got more scrutiny on him. That's why it goes back to, for some players and some people in the media, LeBron, is this what your son wanted or is it what you wanted? Anywhere you turn, he's not the best nowhere. Bron, this ain't how you came in the league, big dog. You were that last crop, if not the last person, to go straight from high school to the league because people saw you was going to do it, period. You got Kobe Bryant. He did the same thing. KG. I can keep the name can keep going. When they got to the league, they paid their dues. Yes. Did they get humbled? That's what rookies do. It was apparent you deserve to be there. At too many turns, it can be made, but he don't. That's why people keep using his draft stock against him. That's why they keep using it against him. Because the only reason we can go back to anything he paid his dues for, he paid his dues because he's your son and you his daddy. Shout out to Gilbert Arenas, and I said this on my show. Buddy made the argument, why are we not talking about Bronny James the same way we talk about Shedeur Sanders? How come he gets to escape all of the criticism and the scrutiny and the things that came about it? Dog, because he actually earned it. He didn't just get the position because his daddy was the coach. His daddy said he had to earn it or the dude behind him from the start. And hung that over his head, saying, buddy, you can lose your position. I'm trying to win. He hung that over all his sons' heads. If they played football for him. Buddy, you don't just start because your last name Sanders and I'm Coach Sanders. But I'm prime time. And prime time don't lose, big dog. And we got to talk about that prime time stuff because they crap is crazy too. But, yo, what are we talking about? We can't compare the two because they don't fit. Shedeur Sanders actually had to win and then convince people at the level he was winning that it made sense. They tried to take wins away from him he earned. So he had to go to an even higher level to play against them and did the same thing. Buddy, a nominee for Heisman. Yes, he paid his dues. This ain't the same conversations. Yeah, there's other sons in the league that probably got on the team. They earned their way to get drafted. They earned their way to get the roster spot. Past that, it was like, all right, cool. How can I make it make sense that my son here? I mean, whether you want to go to Doc Rivers and Austin Rivers, I know that's a good example there for a lot of folks. Yo, Austin Rivers couldn't really hang on Doc Rivers because, let's be honest, it might be a debate whether the two is comparable. How much of a cachet he really had outside of Doc Rivers being his coach and him coaching. He still had to be the best one in his state. He still had to be the best one on his teams. He still had to go and do it on college just to get drafted mid first round. If I'm not mistaken, I think he got in the teens. I had to look it up. Bro, he still had to pay the dues. Anywhere you look in sports is never going to be fully respected if you just got handed it from nobody. Even the ones that take all of the roster spot minutes or that takes all of the opportunities or yada, yada, yada. It's when the opportunity is presented to you, because it is to everybody, what are you going to do with it? And did you earn it? Right now, he is unfairly labeled as a man that didn't earn nothing. How you think folks in the G League is going to look at him? At least half of them was the best on their team at one point. You know how messed up that is? You're dealing with NBA players now. At some point, if you made it to the NBA, you earned being the best at whatever you were doing at one point. At no point can we go to Bronny James and say that. Yeah, I can get where Stephen A. Smith is coming from. Buddy, this doesn't look like a favorable position for him, because when you leave, it's almost hell-bound bent. Buddy finna leave too. He ain't gonna have no job no more. Think of the advantages here. Yes, as a father, I'm gonna do that. Past me being a father, my contemporaries, if I'm Bronny James, my contemporaries, my crowd, my draft stock, my draft class, all go right back to you. The reason I even got this $2 million something check when half of my draft stock class in the second round can't even get $1,000 some odd dollars. How do I make that make sense for my $2 million something check? How do I make it make sense? I'm a second round draft pick that got a roster spot. So I'm making more with a game check. How do I make it make sense? So now I got to overdo and try to overprove in every instance that I'm given a legit opportunity. How do I function with that now? Yeah, it was my dream to make it to the league. It wasn't my dream to only do it while my daddy was here. It was my dream past Pops. But if I can't live it past him, whose dream was it? That's the unfair position Bronny James is in. And now I'm giving this very, 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 I cannot even emphasize this enough. Bronny James has now been placed in this unfair position of trying to make up time in a very, very short time span. Because everybody know LeBron James probably got 1 or 2 more years left. If he make it past 1 or 2 more years, good God, he already proved that he's Iron Man, but you already know he has feet out the door. If this season proves anything, he's been taking off more because he know he got one foot out the door. It's time for me to retire, big dog. Yeah, I'm LeBron freaking James, and I can do it anytime I want to. Buddy, the game getting faster, and they only getting younger. Hence, my son is in the league on my same team. Bro, they only getting younger. I've been doing this for 20 some odd years. So he only got 1 or 2 more good years left. And let's be honest, bro. When have you known a G League player to hold a G League spot and a roster spot and get glorified good minutes, glorified good rotation minutes in both? I don't know too many. And if you do trade in between being a G League player and not, most of the time it go back to them being thin on their roster. The Lakers ain't thin. They just running them. Yo, bro. That's why I get both sides of this argument, bro. Yes. Do media be wilding on the takes they make? Because I still think it was tacky for him to say as a father to LeBron James. I do. I that was mad tacky. Because you can't call that, for one. And for two, it sounds like a backhanded way of agreeing with him, because you already understand why he did this. So don't wear thin with how you phrasing it with, oh, I wouldn't have my son, yada, yada, yada. Now you question him as a father. I would be very much offended too. The point not valid though. And that's that weird in-between area. I know a lot of folks is going to cater to LeBron James, probably say, I'm wilding, I don't get it. Look, I got you. We can agree to disagree. But you got to admit, past being a father, you can understand as an athlete and a competitor, because your son definitely got the gene. He got that in him. I see it when he playing. He may not be able to compete with everybody, and it might be a lot of folks that you could definitely say is better than him. Bro, you see it in his eyes. He likes to compete. As a competitor, you know this don't make sense. And you know this is not fair. But hey, that's just me. If you guys agree, if you guys don't, make sure you do hit it up in the chat. Don't want to go too long-winded on this, because hey, everybody else is. I'm not, but everybody else is. I'm gonna go get me the rest of my workout in. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you do like, share, subscribe, all of those. It goes a long way with the LIM. We will see you guys